Good morning, everyone. Yeah, very good morning. So, shall we begin the session? Yes, in the last class, we have discussed about the documents of the product review. What are the various document or what are the various product review that is used with the product concern that is used with the document preview. Now, what is the document preview? It's a systematic examination of the documents. Whenever we are doing the systematic examination that is collected during the project, that includes the rosters, timesheet, portfolio, photograph, that is known as a document of the product review. Then how many respondent or participants are available in this one? So that is not applicable with this one because participant or whatever the tool that is used, so that is not used with this. So that is not gathered out, that is not used out, that is not concerned with the systematic arrangement, systematic examination of documents, whatever the document that is available, so that is collected during the project. Now how many is content, that is also not applicable. What is the time issue? So it varies, that depends on the number of the document, their availability and the amount of the information being analyzed. So whatever the information, whatever the tool that is gathered, that depends on the number of documents, their availability and the amount of information being analyzed. That is also a time issue that is being documented, that is a product review that is available for the time issues. Now, what is the cost issue or what is the cost that is involved? This is relatively inexpensive, assuming that documents can be retrieved very easily and data analysis may be time consuming and therefore it is very expensive. So sometimes it is very time consuming, sometimes it is very expensive to take the cost issue, to take the document that can be retrieved very easily. And it may be a time consuming and therefore the expensive. Now, when to use it? That means when to use a document review. So it is used to quantify the particular project. What is the particular project that has been taken out, that has been carried out, to process the document, to spend the cost, to show the cost. That is used with the documents and the reviews, a document or the product review. So time issues that varies, that depends on the number of documents, their availability and the amount of information that is being analyzed. So what is the amount of information that is being analyzed, why it is required, what is the main issue of using the data analysis. Then it varies, that depends on the number of documents, availability and the amount of information being analyzed. The next one is a cost issue. Cost issue in the sense data collection that relatively inexpensive. So this cost issue is very inexpensive data that assume that document can be retrieved very easily, and there is a data analysis part that is available and the analysis that is used with the emergency, that is used with the various terms, that is yes, that is used with concerned people. So that is a time issue that is used with yes, that is used with the concerned person, which whatever the use, whatever the requirement of this one, whatever the requirement that is used with this, right? So it varies, that depends on the number of the document that is used, so the number of logical error that is used with this one. So the data collection can be, or it can be relatively, or it can be inexpensive, assuming that documents can be retrieved very easily, and the data analysis may be time consuming, therefore it can be very expensive. There are two parts in that cost issue. It can be expensive, it cannot be expensive, it depends. So data collection is relatively inexpensive and analysis is very time consuming. Now, when to use it? That means when to use the data, when to use it. So documents can be used to quantify the particular project components, whatever the project component, that is the number of the participants, amount of the time spoken on or spent on the task, then cost. So whatever the number of tasks, whatever the project component that is used, or that is used with the document of the project review. Then document review is unobstructive and does not impact on the delivery of the object or project. So whatever the document review, whatever the data collection that is used, that will be used with the impact of the delivery of the project, and the documents can provide multiple measures of the same construct, and it also allows the evaluators to examine the process from more than one direction. Whatever the direction that we follow, whatever the rule that we follow, that is used to examine the processing, that is used to examine the data, that is used from more than one direction. Now, what are some of the benefits, or what are the various benefits of the documents review or the document of the product review? First one is a relatively cost effective. So this is relatively cost effective that is used. So this is acquired for the cost effectiveness. This is used for the cost effective. Then, assuming documents have been archived, data analysis can take place at any time. So, whatever the document that is achieved, whatever the criteria that is used, so that is achieved over here, and data analysis can take place at any time. So, assuming that documents have been achieved or are archived, and the analysis can take place at any point of time, at any level of time, and the documents can be used to monitor the development of a project. So these documents can also be used to monitor the development, how we monitor the development of a project. Then the project history can be documented, can be used, can be fallen out, and data collection is often unobstructive. Unobstructive in the sense we cannot obstruct the data, we cannot use the data, that is often or generally unobstructive. Then, what are the various limitations or what are the various drawbacks of using the documents for the product review? So first one is whenever we collect the data, whenever we are using the data, so collection and analysis of the documents can be very time consuming, especially if the documents have been achieved in an orderly manner. So whatever the documents, whatever the data that is used, so that documents have not been achieved in a manner, so collection and the analysis of the documents can be very time consuming. At least say it is very time consuming. This is one of the limitation of the documents of the product review. Then available information may not match evaluation questions and needs. So whatever the questions, whatever the data that is required, so that information may not match the evaluation process, evaluation criteria, that is not matched with the content, that is not matched with the questions and the needs. So available information may not match the evaluation questions and the needs. Then next one is a case study. Next tool is a case study that we are using. So what is a case study? So whenever you're using the detailed narrative description, or there's a describing a project or the experiences or the perception of a particular participant. So whenever we are using the participants, whenever we are using the narrative or narration that describes a project, that tells us the project or the experiences and the perceptions of a particular participant. So whatever the participant that is taken out, whatever the experience that is taken out, whatever the tools that is taken out, so that gives a detailed narrative describing a project or the experiences and the perception of a particular participant. So whatever the particular participant tools, whatever the experiences, whatever the perception that is taken out with the particular participant. So what is a case study? It is a holistic, detailed narrative describing a project or the experiences and the perception of a particular participant. Now, how many respondents or the participants are available in the case study? It typically ranges from 2 to the 3. So not more than 3 and not less than 2. So it have a 2 to 3 people that is used with the, or that is used as a persons, or that is used as a respondents or the participants of the case study. Now, it is very time intensive. It is very time consuming, we can say, time taken out or taking out. Data collection typically using the ethnologic data collection methods that take place consistently and continuously over an extended period of time, over a collected period of time, and for the most part data are qualitative and also requires a great deal of time to collect the data, to gather the data, to fetch out the data, whatever the data that is fetching out, so that is used with a particular time or period of time with extended period of time. And for most of the part data are qualitative and also requires a great deal of time to collect. Great deal of time to collect in the sense there is a qualitative data that is required with a great time to collect, organize and analyze with the data collection method. And this also may require evaluators to a particular observer, that is how to use the data, how to manage the data, what are the various time constraints that is used with the evaluations. Then next one is a cost issue. What is the cost issue? So data collection and the analysis also requires a significant amount of time. Whatever the amount of time, whatever the data that is used and the expertise, whatever the data that is expertise over here, and the evaluated time could be very costly. Whatever the evaluation time, whatever the cost, that will be very costly for the data collection, that will be very costly for the data scenarios. Now, when to use it? So, what is the uses or what is the relevance of the case study? So, when to use the case study? So, case studies are particularly useful when the decision makers or the stakeholders would like a detailed understanding of the project. So, when the decision maker have a detailed understanding of the project, stakeholder have a detailed understanding of the project or the experience of a particular participant, and the willing to forcefully or willing to do or willing to forego general generalizability, and the case studies also provides a rich, in-depth description of a participant or a small group of participants. Whatever the participants, whatever the in-depth description that is used with a small group of participants that is available with the case studies, a project, and how it works. And case studies also provides a vivid imagery, pulling a variety of data gathered from interviews, whatever the data that is gathered from the interviews, documents, and the observation in a cohesive whole. That is how to use the documents, how to process the documents, what are the various effects that is used in a document, that is a cohesive method. And the pattern of experience can be highlighted. Whatever the pattern of the experience is, whatever the tool, whatever the data that is available, it can be very highlighted, because whenever we are using the case study, it can be highlighted for the content, for the usage of the data. And case studies also help the decision maker understand the project success and the failure within a well described context. Well described context in the sense, what is the project description, what is the project success, and what is the project failures within a well described content, within a well described manner. So case studies are particularly useful when the decision makers or other stakeholder would like a detailed understanding of the project or the experience of the project participants. Now, what are the various benefits of the case studies? Why we are using the case study? What are the various advantages of using the case study? So, first one is it provides a holistic understanding of the project. Holistic means a deep understanding of the project, because we are going to study the scenario again and again. That is a case study. So it provides a holistic understanding of the project. That means a deep understanding of the project. That is what we are going to do, how we are going to do, what is the requirement, and how beneficial it is. So that gives a deep understanding, holistic understanding of the project. Then second one is provide the vivid imagery. That may be narrative, that may paints a picture of the project. Paints a picture of the project means it gives a vivid imagery, whatever the effects, whatever the data, whatever the tool that is available, so that how the tools will be gathered out, how the imaging or the imagery will be carried out, what is the narrative picture, and also paints a picture of the project. Then last point is detailed understanding of the patterns and the experiences. What is the detailed understanding of the pattern? What is the detailed understanding of the project? What is the detailed understanding of the patterns and the experiences that is taken out with the benefit, that is loose with the benefit, that is covered with the benefit. So these are some of the benefits. First one is First one is holistic understanding of the project, then vivid imagery, then detailed understanding of the pattern and the experiences. Whatever the detailed understanding of the pattern, whatever the tools, whatever the data reactions, whatever the data tools that will be carried out with the pattern and the experiences. Now, what are some of the limitations, or what are some of the limitations that is taken out? So first one is a time intensive. So it is very time intensive. It is very gathering out data. So it is very time intensive. We can say time taking out or time consuming. Then next one is detailed understanding of a particular participant's results cannot be generalized. So detailed understanding of a particular participant, whatever the detailed understanding, whatever the criteria that is taken out, so that will be used with a particular participant, then results cannot be generalized with this one, results cannot be taken out with this one. Then the strategies for the data collection and analysis are complex and also requires the detail or also requires the extensive training. Whatever the data collection tools, whatever the terms, condition that is used with the data collection, that is used with the analysis, that are very complex and also requires the extensive training. Extensive training means good training or the capability training that is used with the project, that is used with the scenarios. Now, next is Appendix B. That is the next part. So, till now, any doubts, anyone in the case study, in the document or the product? So, let's take out again what we have covered. What are the various tools, technique that is used for the data gathering methods? Let's see what are the various tools. So, we are starting with this one. We have started with the appendices A. We have started with the appendix 1. That is with this one. No. We are not started with this. Yeah, we have started with the appendix 1. That is what are the various fact sheet on the data collection instrument, what are the various parts by which we can collect the data. That is a fact sheet on the data collection instrument we have studied. And this we have studied what are the various fact sheet, in the sense what are the various tools, what are the various terms that is used with the fact sheet, that is used with the workbook on data collection instrument. The appendix contains individual fact sheet that describe in more detail whatever the 9 data collection instrument. That may be a focus group, that may be interviews, that may be a questionnaire, that may be a survey, that may be observation. Whatever the focus group that is taken out, that is taken out with the literature review, that is taken out with the concept map, that is taken out with the understanding of the data. So that is used with the understanding of the data, that is used with the gathering of the data, that must be taken out with this. So that is the questionnaire, surveys, literature review, test, concept map, document or the product reviews, case study, whatever the case study that is taken out. Number of participants, time and cost factor, benefits and the limitation that are also described over here. Then we have studied about the interviews, focus group, questionnaire, survey, literature review. These 9 means 9 observation tools, 9 data gathering tools we have discussed, with the benefits, with the persons that is required, with the limitation that is used with this one. So these are the various data collection instrument that is used. So that's seen that how to describe the various data collection instruments. Then for each method, the number of the participants, time and the cost factors and the benefits, limitations are described. Whatever the time factor, whatever the limitation that is described over here, that is used over here. So for each of the method, the number of the participants, time and the cost factors and the benefits and the limitations are described over here. Benefits and the task are described over here. So whatever the tool, whatever the benefits. So we have discussed about the interviews. That is, the interviews means taking out the face-to-face interview that is gathered up. Then what is it? So this is the active interchanging between the people, either face-to-face or via the technology. Then how many respondents or the participant, that typically ranges from 5 to 20. Then what is the time issues? Then can last 15 minutes to the 2 hours, that depending on the depth, that depends on the data analysis. And the data analysis is often slow and the time consuming, whatever the data collection method that is used out. And data analysis can take the weeks, especially if the long interviews are transcribed and the initial analysis and the initial parts are returned to the respondents for a check of the accuracy. Whatever the check of the accuracy, whatever the data that is returned out, so that is a time issue that typically ranges from the 15 minutes to the 2 hours. And there is an initial period that is required, that is returned to the respondents, whatever the respondent that is taken out for a check of the accuracy, whatever the accuracy, whatever the tool that is required for this one. Now, what are the various cost issues? So project managers must factor in the cost of hiring, training the interviewers, transportation cost, and the substantial data analysis time. What is the substantial data analysis time? What is the cost issue? What are the various factors that is acquired for the interviewers? What is the transportation cost? What is the data gathering requirements? Why we are using the data gathering requirements? What is the indulgement of the data gathering requirement? Now, next is when to use it. So what is the main time period when to use the interview? what is the requirement of this one, then what are the benefits of the interviews, then what are some of the limitations. Then next one is the focus group. Focus group in the sense, what is a structured interview, what is the interactive exchange that is used between the interviewer, facilitator, and the group of the people. How many respondents, how many people are available with this one. Then what are the various time issues that typically last about from 1 to the 1.5 hour. Then what are the various cost issues that are relatively inexpensive unless a focus group moderator is hired. Whatever the focus group moderator that is available for this, that is used with this one. And other the cost consideration also includes the transportation for the participants, room rental, food, other refreshment for the participant, honorarium for the participant. Then when to use it, that includes the focus group, that includes the interview, when we are using the variety of the perspective of the topic. And then we will discuss about the benefits, limitations. Then we have discussed about the questionnaire and the survey, how many respondents. This typically ranges from 25 to the thousands. And the number of surveys is limited by time and the money. It can be sent to any member of the audience who have access to the email. Then what are the various time issues that we have discussed? What are the various factors that issues the time? What are the various ways? Then the cost issue, when to use it, so that is standardized with the data, that is standardized with the content. What are some of the benefits? What are some of the advantages? Then what are some of the limitations that is used with this? Then we have a limited provision for the unanticipated responses. They're not adaptable once the service is distributed. Whatever the survey, whatever the data that is acquired, so that is not adaptable. Then requires a significant time and the high level of expertise to develop the valid survey. Whatever the valid survey, whatever the data that is required, so that is used with the valid survey, that is used with the skewed survey, that is used with the low level of the returns. Then next is observation. We have studied what is observation, why we are using the observation, what is the data collection method that is also used. We can say whatever we observe, that is whatever we see, whatever we watch, that is known as the observation. Then how many respondents or the participants, that typically ranges from 5 to 20 people. And the number of people of the object event observed, that depends on the subject being observed. Subject being observed means whatever the tool, whatever the data that is acquired for this, whatever the relevant knowledge that is required, that depends on the subject being observed. That may be a short, that may be a discrete activity, that may be a recycling container, that may be a complex length activity such as the ability of the facilitate a lesson. Then next one is the time issues. This also depends on what is being observed. That is a time issue. Then cost issue, that varies with the complexity of the subject. Then when to use it, when to use in the sense, what are the various ways by which we are using this one. So observation also allows the evaluator to document the behavior, and when the evaluator wants to know how the people behaves or the results of a specific behavior, observation should be used. At that time we are using the observations. Now next is what are the benefits, or what are some of the benefits for the observation. There is a little interruption of the workflow of the group activity if it is done properly. Then generates the data about the actual behavior or not reported behavior. Then there is a project in the action. Then good in-depth data. Then data collection in or collected in context. Then obtuse observer, limitations is very time consuming data or focus out. Then literature review we have discussed. Literature review we have discussed about this one, how many respondents, how many participants are available, how to use it. Then what is the test, what are the advantages. Then concept map, there is a time issue, what are the various time membrane. Then document of the product review, case study. Now, in the next class, in the Monday's class, I'm going to take, sorry. In the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class, not in the Monday's class. I'm so confused because there is a Diwali in the India festival. So I'm so confused. So I'm so sorry. So in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class, I'm going to take with the next topic, that is Appendix B, determining the sample size. How to determine the sample size. So we are finished with the Appendix A. Next part is Appendix B. How to determine the sample size, or what is the sample size we can say, and how to use it, what is the benefit of using the sample size. All right, now any doubts anyone, so please ask the doubts. Bye bye everyone. Yeah, one thing more, if there is any clarification, any doubts, anyone regarding any issue, regarding anything that you want to ask. Yes, very good question. In the next class, that is the Appendix B, there is a how to determine the sample size or how to use a sample size, how to use them, how to acquire them, or when to modify them. So let's see what are the various sample sizes that is acquired for this one. What are the various benefit that is acquired for the sample sizes, or how to determine the sample size in the sense. First question is how to determine in the sense what are the various benefits for the sample size in the chapter number or appendix number B. So we have finished with appendix A. Next part is appendix B, that is determining the sample size, how it is gathered, and how it is used. Now, so we have talked about the 9 collection methods: focus group, literature review, observations, interview, questionnaire surveys. We have discussed all these things in the details. All right. So I think everyone is clear about these data collection instruments. What are the benefits? What are the limitations? How many persons are involved, why we are using this one, or what is the main motto of the literature review, what is the main motto of all these things. I think everyone is done with this one, right? There is no issue, there is no, we can say, confusion in any of these data observation techniques. I'm repeating again, any doubts, anyone, you can ask the doubts from me, so that doubts will be clear, other also understand what is going to study or what we are going to study, because